and welcome to Six Figure Signature Offers, the podcast for women in business who want to create brands that become the hot tamale of their industry and sold out scalable offers that bring home the bacon without burning them out. I'm your host, online business strategist Robin Birkin. I've gone from managing 8-figure marketing budgets and big teams to creating 2 multi-6-figure businesses in part-time hours by design. If you're ready to attract Cloud9 clients in droves, sell out your scalable offers, and not bring your laptop to the beach, then welcome, let's go. Hi. I am pumped for this episode. I feel like this is going to be a true masterclass in sales, in content, in Instagram. So please listen up, take notes. If you're going for a walk, really concentrate, because do you want more clients? And do you want to make content easier? And if the answer to each of those things is yes, I'm going to speak to you today about exactly how to use Instagram as a service provider and exactly why your favorite Instagram coach may be having you running around in circles, not getting the results that you want, but also staying in that quick dopamine-y space that so much of what Instagram is about keeps you in. So listen up today. Now, before we get started, if you follow me on Instagram at Robin Birkin, you may have seen that I went for about 3 weeks of posting between 5 and 10 times a day. So some of that was trial reels. Much of that was actually also on my feed. And the results speak for themselves. So every metric went up. So views went up dramatically. The amount of profile views I had went up significantly. External link taps went up significantly. Followers went up significantly. And overall, I was spending per post only a couple of minutes because I had the process sort of so dialed in. Right now, I am in the depths of doing all of these amazing and cool things, still posting at least once to twice a day. And the goal is definitely actually to get back to posting 5 times a day. I posted as I was doing this, like day 1, here's some stats, day 2, day 3. And the other thing that I did is I had some Instagram posts along the way that gave some really great tips of exactly what I was doing, how to do it, how to make it easier. So head to my Instagram at Robin Birkin if you want to see a little bit of what I did, how I did it. But behind the scenes, I am working on a program called Traction. Now, the reason that I started posting so much on Instagram was partly because of this new program. So inside the mastermind is sort of like an all access pass to all of my curriculum and all of my trainings. And I wanted to go through and update all of my trainings on Instagram and make sure it was coherent. So I had a training from Instagram that was, maybe like 2 years old and all still very relevant because the strategies that I teach are very timeless. So strategy is almost always usually the same and also usually platform agnostic in many ways. Tactics and tools that you can use, they sometimes change, but when you actually know the timeless strategy to creating content, everything is very much more static. But wanted to go through, update everything, make sure that, ManyChat was really well integrated, and also create an app that you can save locally to your computer as a content tool, so you're not paying for all of these other things, and so that you can actually truly strategically plan out your content. Anyway, so it's called Traction. It's amazing. I sent out a few things for pre-sales, and so between the pre-sales and the mastermind, I'm just finishing the app right now. But that is now in beta and testing. We're going to get everyone in the mastermind to go through that, give me their feedback, see where we can make improvements, and then I will be putting it out further to market. So follow me on Instagram or jump on my email list if you would like to know when that comes out. It's not going to be an expensive offer. It's not going to be thousands of dollars. It's going to be launching at less than $100, and then the price will go up gradually. So if you do want access to that and first access, either reach out to me on Instagram or just keep a track on my emails, etc. I'm excited about Traction. The next thing, possibly related to the Instagram visibility sprint that I ran, was that we have had so many new subscribers here to the podcast. So I wanted to say hello and welcome. I am so glad you're here. Please, if you're listening to the podcast for the first time today, make sure you are following me. If you love this episode or any of the other episodes, my love language is when you hit that rating button, or my true love language is when you go onto Apple Podcasts and then leave a written review. Oh my God. You think people don't see things like that? I see them, and I am so grateful every single time that someone does that. And I'm really committed this year to being a great citizen on the internet. So I do that. I reply to people's question stickers. I liberally like people's posts on Instagram. I comment a lot. I reply to people's stories. And I want that to be the world that I live in on social media. I think we've somehow, speaking of social media, gone a little bit backwards, that we're also passively engaging. And I'm like, no, it's social media for a reason. So I'm committed to being social on social media. Anyway, we have had almost like triple the amount of podcast listeners. So hi and welcome. And I am so thrilled because that was one of my goals this year. So then the next thing that happened, again, I've shared more about this on Instagram, is right at the point where I was using ChatGPT and I was like, this is just garbage. Like everything is either outsourcing my strategy and my deep brain and leadership, or it's just giving me AI slop. And I was like, I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze on this. And some of the things that you feel are really great with AI are things that you don't even need to be doing anyway. So I had almost like this moment of, am I just going to quit AI? Altogether, is this really worth it to me? And then everybody had the, mass exodus from ChatGPT. I migrated to Claude because there are still some processes that we use in the business that are quite integral for some form of AI, mostly from an efficiency perspective. Moved to Claude. I think I'm in love, not for content creation or creativity. And in the next episode, I'm going to speak specifically about exactly what I'm using Claude for and some of the cool ways that we're using Claude, how I've set up my Claude account. So if you are interested in learning that, again, make sure you're following me here on the podcast, you're subscribed, because that's what I'm going to speak about in depth in the next episode. And I have a free resource for you. You don't need to sign up to any email lists or anything to get it, but that's what I'll talk about next week. But Claude, oh my gosh, it's a whole different beast. And I'm so much more in love with Claude than ChatGPT. The next thing is that I have also created one space. So this is only for you if you are the absolute unicorn, for a one-to-one client to take on a 4-month sprint. And this is essentially a 4-month sprint that is going to help you bring in a great cash injection, but also really help you sprint towards making sure that whatever that revenue goal is that you set at the end of last year, maybe you're lagging behind, maybe you're on track and you're like, hang on, could I think bigger here? Whatever that is, we're going to help you get back on board, help you elevate that, help plug any leaks, make sure your launch strategy is tight, make sure that offer structure and team and systems and automations are tight. So it is a sprint for the right person. You're ideally going to be someone who is established in business, already sprinting and executing and putting things out there. And you're probably going to be at this point making sort of 6 figures to multiple 6 figures. If that is you, if you are that unicorn and you're like, yes, a 4-month sprint would be incredible. And yes, I have big, ambitious goals, please reach out to me. I have just one place and I do not take on many one-to-one clients, but I really want to get stuck into someone's business and share with you some of the incredible systems, automations, and funnels that we are using and implementing this year. So if that's you, come and reach out to me on Instagram at Robin Birkin. And then the next thing that has happened is that in the house this weekend, we are about to start knocking down walls in the house as part of the second phase of the renovation. So if you go to my Instagram, you'll see the pool, you'll see loads of reels inside the pool room, but we're about to start knocking down walls in the house. So stay tuned. I'm excited. I'm also terrified, and I'm also tired. I'm so ready for this renovation to finish. So thank you for the longest TED Talk introduction ever. I feel like so many things are happening in the business. There is so much momentum, and I am excited to get stuck into all things Instagram with you, and why the advice that I will often give my clients and that I follow myself is actually often very different to the advice that you're probably going to see on Instagram from the coaches, the people who are doing the trending audios and all of these reels tutorials and things like that. So the first advice that I see that is quite prolific from a lot of Instagram coaches and people is that you only need to be posting 2 to 3 times a week and to do what is sustainable for you. Now, obviously, you can see from the beginning of this episode that I don't believe that at all, because unless you already have an established following, you need to be posting a minimum of 5 to 7 times per week. And if you are not running ads, possibly even more so. And you need to learn how to make that sustainable and learn how to do that consistently. If you do not have the time, that is a business model issue. That means that there is something not right in your business model, or there is something that is not right in your scheduling and the way that you are managing your time. If posting on Instagram takes too long, that is a systems issue, or even a mindset, like perfection paralysis issue. There is an issue if every single Instagram post is taking you an hour to 2 hours. So as I said, I was posting 5 times per day. The only reason why I'm not posting 5 times per day at the moment is because I'm deep in the creation of a new product. And so if you are always in the creation of a new product, well, that's a business model issue, isn't it? So sometimes you might have temporary dips, but by and large, I would suggest you should be posting a minimum of 2 to 3 times per day. And it shouldn't be that hard. So I was posting 5 times a day, and literally sometimes I would look at myself and say, oops, I have not posted 5 times per day. And then I would create another 3 posts before bed and go to bed, and that would be my day, right? And it would take about like an extra 20 minutes to half an hour. If you do not know how to make posting on Instagram fast, if you don't know what to post, there's an issue there. There's something that you need to figure out, because posting on Instagram should be something that you can do consistently, that shouldn't take a lot of time, that you don't need to batch it all out, although you can, but it should be something that should be quite quick. And it's generally mostly a top of funnel kind of thing. And then the next one is, if you don't know what to post, that's where you don't understand the true strategy behind running an Instagram account. The next one is that you can build your business all organically. If you want to be slow to make the money that you want to make, sure, okay, build your business all organically. And again, if you want to be really slow at making money, post 2 to 3 times per week. It is a non-negotiable. And you're like, oh my God, but that's hard to post more, or that's like an investment to invest on ads. If you want the spoils, you have to, put in the work. Right? I remember even years ago, and I'm talking like when one of my daughters was a baby, and so that was about 10 or 11 years ago, I used to post every day with a newborn, twice a day. And I used to do it while I was nursing. I used to post once in the morning, and then I used to post once at like my before bed feed consistently. So Instagram hasn't changed that much. And in posting 5 times per day, even just that little visibility sprint, so many things have become clear. My reach on Instagram dramatically increased, and also because I was testing so much in like trial reels, I kind of figured out, oh, this is how trial reels work. You can't really figure out what works if you're only posting twice a week. So twice a week is only 100 posts per year. If you post 5 times per day, that is nearly 2,000 posts. You best believe that 100 versus 2,000, the person who's posted 2,000 times is going to have a far better idea of exactly what's working. They're also going to have a lot more clients, and they're also going to be a lot richer. But also, one of the quickest ways to guarantee, if you're like, I'm still testing out what's working, I'm still finding my voice, I'm still, in that building phase of building my audience, but you don't want to wait for your revenue to catch up, you need to invest in ads. And when I say, oh yeah, like I had a visibility sprint for about 3 weeks, I then started running ads as well. So ads to me are also like an insurance policy, that if I am busy focusing on something else, aka creating another program, I'm not letting everything else in my business slide. I'm not dropping email subscribers. My funnels are still doing what they need to do. And that is possible because I am running ads. And especially in today's market, if you want to take the slow and time-consuming route, if you want it to take years rather than a year to reach multiple six figures, sure, build organically, but otherwise investing in advertising is a non-negotiable. And as you know, the businesses that I promote are businesses that work around your life in part-time hours. You should not be the bottleneck of your business. Your business should not be reliant on you being in it all the time. And one of the ways you take yourself out of it is either you can hire for thousands of dollars per month a social media manager that's probably going to still need you to do all of these different things, or you just learn how to run ads. And learning to run ads is a lot more predictable. It also does a lot more conversion work than just always consistently posting organically. One of the biggest reasons I see launches fail is because undoubtedly they just significantly underestimate the sheer quantity of leads that you need to bring into your launch cycle. You need hundreds, if not thousands of people in your funnels. The way that you get that is through ads. If you are not getting 200, 300, 500, 1,000 email subscribers through your funnels organically every month, you have an issue in your business. I can guarantee that unless you are doing a lot of direct outreach, unless your offer is very high ticket, you're not going to be able to make the revenue that you need. So ads have to become a non-negotiable. You have to make friends with ads. You need to learn how to run ads. You need to be able to budget and finance accordingly so that you can run ads really profitably, learn how to do it quickly. That's exactly what we teach inside the Peach and Profit Mastermind, and actually probably one of the biggest draw cards that people have to coming into the mastermind is to learn the way that we teach ads, which is very much from a service provider perspective. The next one is this hook/trending audio will help you go viral. Do you know, I spent such a long time. So you can actually kind of train your algorithm to only find you the music that has, whatever it is, like under 1,000 plays and is trending. So you can 100% sit there, train your music algorithm on Instagram to be just that trending audio, and that's fine. But I can tell you right now something else. So as I mentioned, when I had my visibility sprint on Instagram, I tested a range of different things. Do you know what else I also tested? Basically using the exact same audio over and over again. When you have an audio that fits your brand, that fits the vibe of the music that you want, when the drops and the beats fit into what you want, life is so much easier. And so let me share with you that you can actually just again and again, over and over again, use the exact same audio. So absolutely, you need to learn how to create hooks. Absolutely, you need to gain attention. You need visual hooks. You need audio hooks in what you do, but also focus on going deep and not wide. You need content that gets attention from Cloud9 clients, but chasing virality and likes is not going to bring you more sales. Likes are an important metric for your existing followers, But I have seen many, many people who are getting millions of views on Instagram Reels, for example. It's not translating into followers. And also, especially, it is not translating into clients. So the Instagram strategy that I teach is based on what I call the core four core pillar content types. One of those is based essentially on getting views from outside your niche. One of those is based on getting essentially likes from your existing followers. The other two have no vanity metric real purpose other than maybe saves. And those are the ones that are going to bring you sales. If you have a lot of content on your Instagram feed that is very general and very broad, yes, you may get some vanity metrics on your account. You may be like, oh my God, I'm winning. But can I also tell you what's going to happen is it's going to cross-pollinate your algorithm. And especially if you're running meta ads, it's going to really start to confuse, especially if you do it over and over again. It's going to confuse your Instagram algorithm from an ads perspective because it's not going to know who the best fit people to show your ads to are. So then what happens is you will have essentially like an Instagram account, you'll run ads to it and it's going to be like, oh, I don't know who the best fit people to send these ads to, which then results in higher ad costs as well. So you want to go almost like niche viral. So you want to have content that is like catnip to your Cloud9 clients, but you don't want to have like super broad content that just appeals to everyone. You're a service provider, not an influencer. So all of this stuff about like trending audios, etc., that's actually not necessarily in your best interest. The next one, I see a lot of Instagram coaches saying you don't need to engage with other accounts. If you are growing a small following, so I sometimes have, and I used to work with a lot more people who are just starting out in their business. I see a lot of those people who are publishing Instagram content consistently, and I'm talking like daily, right? They've got about maybe let's say 150 followers, and they're really consistent with posting content that it feels like they're doing absolutely everything right on their account. They're like, yeah, I've got a hook. It's a 7-second B-roll reel. My caption is on point. And that is one of the most frustrating places to be, is feeling like you're publishing consistently and it's doing nothing. Like you're just still stuck at a really low number of followers. So even if you're like wherever you're at, even if you're under 10,000 followers, if you are growing a small following, regularly commenting and engaging on the Instagram stories. So I don't mean just like hearting an Instagram story. I mean actually replying in that reply box, and again, being social on social media. And also specifically posting on the comments of larger creators in a similar, ideally adjacent niche is going to help, number one, Instagram categorize your account far better. It's going to be like, right, she's in this sphere. This is the types of topics that she's engaging with, talking with, etc. Great. The other thing is it's going to start bringing more profile views to your account. So if I had a small Instagram account, so again, under 10,000 followers or even under like 50,000 followers, having I call it the engagement hit list. So what I teach inside the mastermind is you will have a list Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of creators who are large, who have large and engaged accounts in a similar niche or adjacent niche to you, that you will once a week go to their account, visit their account and engage in the comments of their feed. And I guarantee you it's going to start bringing you traction on your account if you do that consistently for 1 to 3 months. If you have a small account, combining that in your engagement together with ads and then maybe also trial reels and a really big visibility sprint on trial reels, because trial reels will only show your content on trial reels to people who are not your followers. That's the 3 things that I would be doing. In addition to posting at least once a day on your main feed. Again, does that take time? Yes. But also, do you want clients? Yes. The next one is hashtags are dead and it's all about keywords. Keywords are very important, 100%. Hashtags are not dead though. So I personally do not use hashtags very often in my content strategy. However, I can tell you right now that number one, hashtags do matter. And number two, I secured a $10,000 coaching client last year from a hashtag. So enough said. Hashtags do matter. You have to have the right hashtags for your account. Do you need to post 30? Posting 30, I feel, is still far better than posting just 3, but can you post just 3? Absolutely. The next one, quality over quantity. I'm in the camp of quantity. Again, 2 posts per week in a year is only 104 posts. You cannot find your voice. You cannot get found by clients. You can only scrape the surface of usable insights and data with 100 posts. And that's over a full year. So I would ask you, how fast do you want to grow? And not from an audience followers perspective. How fast do you want to grow from a revenue perspective, right? If you're like, I don't know what to post, I feel paralyzed by perfection. The way you get out of that, the way you make Instagram content faster, by posting, not about thinking, not about downloading a million strategies. You get better when you put in the reps and when you have the discipline, standards, and commitment to saying to yourself, well, do you know what? I'm going to invest my time and energy into this. And every day before I go to sleep, this is what I will do. And then keeping promises to yourself. And if you post 2 times per day, that's like 730 posts by the end of the year. That is so much more content. You best believe you'll be faster, better by that experience and have more money. So the secret to learning all of this is to master 3 things. You need to know what to post that resonates with your Cloud9 client. Again, sometimes that comes down to putting in the reps. You need to learn how to post quickly on the platform. Yet again, that comes from putting in the reps. And you need to position yourself as the authority in your niche. And that is one of the other content types that I teach my clients inside my mastermind and that I will be teaching inside of Traction. Hopefully though, you can see a little bit of how it all works. What I will also say is that I have a case study that you might find helpful in terms of like the types of content that starts to get traction, get people moving. If you head to my Instagram feed, comment on any of the posts, grow. I'll send you a 13-page case study of a pre-launch that I posted, and you will see the type of content that I posted that started, number 1, getting traction, but also number 2, like started moving people through the funnel of the pre-launch that we had. So hopefully that episode has helped. At the end of the day, if you are serious about growing a business and content is part of the way that you intend to get clients, posting prolifically, consistently is a non-negotiable. It's yes, does it take some time? Yes, it does. But is it critical for getting money? Absolutely yes. So hopefully this is a call to arms for you to do exactly that. Have the best day. I will speak to you soon.